Thank you all for being here. I'm Isabel, and I'm a proud employee at Fidelidade. I'm here today to talk to you about the Agile journey that we are doing here at Fidelidade. It has been something we started back in 2017, and we are still doing. But I want to take you back to the beginning, back to 2017, to a time where we were revising the way that the IT worked. It was a very wide project that touched a variety of topics, and one of it was the delivery model. And on the delivery side of IT, we had a particular challenge that bothered us. The challenge that we had was that we had no focus. And the teams were scattered, the projects ran for too long, too many of the times. Neither the business had a dedication it should to answer the IT questions and doubts, nor the IT had the capacity to take all projects from beginning to end. And we faced this need to change the way that we delivered the IT projects. And then in our quest to change this, we heard about Agile. Don't get me wrong, but in 2017, I believe that 99% of us believed that Agile was exactly the same thing as Scrum. We believe that Agile resumed mainly to a different way of working, to a different way of delivering. We had heard something about values and mindset, and we thought that that was cool, but to be honest, we were really interested in this motion, this new way of working that allows us to deliver in a different way. Or at least, I was. Anyways, despite our lack of knowledge about Agile, and thanks to the vision of our IT head and our CEO, we started to implement these Scrum teams. And we started very slowly and with not a lot of Scrum teams. We started with 4. And we also hired some Agile coaches from outside the organization. And we started to run this experiment in IT. And we ran this experiment for 2 years. We increased slowly the number of teams. We trained people from the teams in the IT and the business side, and we got to know the concepts of Agile a little bit more. To be honest, this first experience brought a lot of good things. We started to deliver faster our projects. We got people way more engaged. We learned that we had to train people in Agile, but also in adjacent skills such as release planning. We started to discuss a little bit more the projects, and we started to do that in a more transparent and clear way, and also way more aligned with our strategic vision. But it was not all roses. The business, for instance, complained that they had no time to adapt and that they had no people to be product owners. This was a very huge theme. Also, some Scrum Masters that we have behave like project managers, putting this upside-down mindset. And some people also complained about the number of ceremonies. Besides our bad things, I think that all of us agreed that, all in all, Agile had brought us more good things than bad. And so we continued to experiment in the IT projects, and we also took this agility to a new place in the organization. So in 2019, so 2 years after we started, our CEO had this idea of taking the Agile, or this new way of working, so I'm talking about Scrum, just to be clear, to our most transformational projects. Well, in fact, this project had exactly the same problem that the IT project used to have. They lacked focus and were running for too long in the organization. So we could quickly put up a physical space where people could meet and work together in teams to do these transformational projects. We defined a new way of working based in Scrum, and we also created a division that consisted in a bunch of facilitators. So these facilitators, helped the project teams to grow through the ceremonies of Scrum. They trained the teams on topics such as psychological safety or feedback. They did anything that they felt could make the team more of a team. And also they were worried about removing the impediments that the team had. Again, a lot of magical things happened. Some not so magical things also happened. On the not so magical side, I think we discovered problems that we didn't know existed. For instance, we as a company were way more hierarchical than we thought we were. teams had a lot of trouble being independent. On the magical side, I think we saw a lot of projects being implemented, a lot of new people gaining relevance in the organization, people that we didn't know existed. We brought new ways of working to the projects, but also to their own areas. And we saw people being completely reskilled. We saw people breaking their organizational silos, and people actually talking about what the customer wanted. And this was a kind of a breakthrough to us. I think it was also pretty magical that we started to really understand, to really feel that Agile was so much more than Scrum. We started to understand the beauty and the need to embrace these Agile values to make this work. I think before we were just worried about the motions, but not with the values. And we understood that to really capture the benefits of an Agile organization, we had to be Agile and not to do Agile. We started to see Agile as values and culture. We started to see Agile as changing habits, and we started to discuss how this intertwines with other organizational practices such as feedback, performance, and people development. And so we started to add things to what we already did to transform our company and our organization. For instance, we started to communicate a lot more. I believe that every week we send something to the whole organization about Agile values or some things that gravitate around this Agile mindset and ideas. Some things that enable us to be more Agile. It was not all. I think we also started to train a lot of key people. For instance, the heads of the divisions. And we started to expand this training to the executive committee for them to help us embrace this transformation, and to all of the other team leaders, to the core of the organization. We also helped and are still helping other areas to change the way of work. So at a certain point in time, people confused Scrum with Agile. And so people believed that Agile was only for projects. They didn't believe they could use to their home divisions. And so we started to work with teams to implement this Agile vision, this Agile mindset in their areas, even though they don't work in projects, because we believe that the values of Agile could help to improve what they do already. I believe that the road is long. This Agile road is a very long one, and there is no finishing line. There will never be. I think this is a constant adaptation. There will not be an ended process. However, if you let me just leave you with a summary of things that really hindered our development and things that really helped us to move forward, I will do that. So if you continue there, I will say that in the what I wish we had done differently, I would say that I would train us more. We had zero training when we started. And when I say zero, it's actually zero. We were a bunch of great enthusiasts, but we had zero real knowledge. So maybe I would have trained us a little bit better. I think that would have helped. In the things that we have done right, I think that, well, first I thought about saying 3, but there are actually 4 things that were really important. So first we started with Scrum. And I know all of the textbooks say that mindset is the most important thing. But doing a method that actually worked helped us to prove the value of this and opened a little bit the heads and the hearts of the organization to the values and the mindset. So it was good for us to prove that this worked before we actually introduced this values and mindset thing. Second, I think our greatest supporter is our CEO, hands down. When we all had doubts, and believe me that we had, he insisted that we moved on, and that made a lot of difference. Third thing that I think is important is that we never believed that 100 people could change the whole organization, and we are 3,500. So most of the companies that I know build transformation hubs that work in Scrum. These transformation hubs are normally a division that is responsible for all of the most important transformational projects in the organization. And they take the people out of their original division to work on these topics. And they report to the head of the transformation hub. And this was not the way that Fidelidade has done. We haven't built a transformation transformation division. What we built was a physical space where people could meet to do these projects. And we created a division. Yes, we created one, reporting to the CEO. However, the role of this division is to help the teams. It's not their job to tell them what to do. This division has absolutely no authority over the transformation teams. These teams exist to serve and help whomever project needs help. They are not there to give them orders, to say so. And at last, I think I would say that the organization never undermined us. I thought that a lot of my colleagues were not able to see the merits of Agile as I was, or other people were, but they were open to change. All of my fellow heads of division, all of the areas were open to embrace these values and to adapt to these new ways of working. At Fidelidade, I think we are genuinely interested in making the whole organization an active part of the change. We believe that only all of us will be able to help Fidelidade change and to remain the undisputed leader that it is today. We don't want to stop being this gigantic elephant that we are. We just want to make sure that we are an elephant that can actually dance. Thank you so much for your time, for being here. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. And if you have any doubts, any needs of clarification, if you just want to speak up, please reach me at LinkedIn. My name is Isabel Reis. I'll be very happy to talk to you. Thank you.